mula sa Sundial area kung saan nga unang tutungo si Pangulong Aquino pagkababa niya sa kanyang sasakyan. Sweden Velado, anong update dyan?
Yes, Ria, ang inyong nakikita nga sa ating screen ay ang pagdating mismo ng sasakyan ni Pangulong Benigno S. Aquino III. Dahil kanina nga narinig ninyo yung unang pagputok ng kanyon dahil yun nga ay hudyat ng kanyang pagdating dito sa loob ng Philippine Military Academy. Yan ngayon yung sasakyan na daanan yung ginagawang 4-story cadet barracks na mamaya pagkatapos naman ng graduation ceremony ay nakatakdang bisitahin at inspeksyonin ni Pangulong Aquino. At ngayon po si Pangulo ay bababa po siya sa may Borromeo Field para naman po dumaan na mismo doon or pumunta na doon sa mismong grandstand. Sinasalubong po ngayon si Pangulong Aquino ni National Defense Secretary Voltaire Gazmin at kinamayan niya din po kanina si PMA Superintendent Major General Donato San Juan. At babalik naman po tayo ngayon kila Colonel Balido at Ria Fernandez.
Maraming salamat, Sweden, sa iyong update mula dyan sa Sundial area. Colonel, ang una nating napag-usapan ay bibisitahin niya muna yung barracks, no? Oo.
Yes, pero nakikita natin sa monitor natin, Ria, na pababa na sa may grandstand. So, malamang magsastart na yung ating programa.
His Excellency
Ayan po,
Benigno
tunghayan na
S.
po
Aquino
natin ang
III,
pagdating ni Pangulong
President,
Aquino sa
Republic
Fajardo
of the
Grandstand.
Philippines, and Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Philippines. He is accompanied by Major General Donato B. San Juan II, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Superintendent, Philippine Military Academy. We would also like to acknowledge the following: Honorable Jejo Mar C. Binay, Vice President of the Philippines; Honorable Voltaire T. Gazmin, Secretary of National Defense; General Hernando D.C.A. Iriberi, Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of the Philippines; Lieutenant General Eduardo M. Año, Commanding General, Philippine Army; Lieutenant General Edgar R. Faljurina, Commander General, Philippine Air Force; Vice Admiral Cesar C. Takad, Flag Officer in Command, Philippine Navy; Cavalier Anselmo S. Avenido, Chairman, Philippine Military Academy Alumni Association Incorporated; Honorable Nestor B. Fongwan, Governor, Province of Benguet; Honorable Nicasio Aliping Jr., Congressman, Lone District of Baguio; Honorable Mauricio G. Dumogan, Mayor, Baguio City; Mr. Simon Moses Geld, President, Ayala Youth Leaders Congress; members of Foreign Armed Forces Attaché headed by Colonel Brian E. Bell, United States Air Force; Police Chief Superintendent Ulysses J. Abellera, Acting Regional Director, Police Regional Office Cordillera; other officers, enlisted personnel, civilians present, and the parents and relatives of the PMA Gabay Laya Class of 2016. Good morning. Please be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, good morning. Today's commencement exercises begins with the entrance of the Philippine Military Academy Band. The Philippine Military Academy traces its roots on October 25, 1898, when the Academia Militar was established by the President of the Philippine Revolutionary Army, General Emilio Aguinaldo. Since its inception, PMA has undergone several changes that led to its reputation of being an institution of excellence. It epitomizes the best traditions of the noble profession of arms and bears the highest standards of character, founded in honor and fortified by discipline. It has a proud heritage to cherish, a glorious tradition to uphold, and a vital mission to accomplish. Throughout more than 100 years of its existence, the Academy has revived and kept its basic character, a military organization committed in training young men and women for service to God, country, and people. With all these in mind, the Academy looks forward to the future as it continuously molds leaders for the nation, espousing the values of courage, integrity, and loyalty.
Attention calls just been sounded, signaling the entrance of the Cadet Corps Armed Forces of the Philippines. The Philippine Military Academy started with the establishment of the Academia Militar on October 25, 1898 at Malolos, Bulacan by the power of a decree issued by the Philippine Republic President, General Emilio Aguinaldo. The Academia was a school which awarded its graduates regular commissionship in the Armed Forces of the Philippines, which lasted until 20 January 1898, before hostilities between the Filipinos and the Americans erupted. On 17 February 1905, an officer school of the Philippine Constabulary was founded at the walled city of Intramuros in Manila. 3 years later, on 01 September 1908, the school was transferred to Baguio City, initially at Camp Henry T. Allen and subsequently at Teachers Camp. On 08 September 1926, the Philippine Legislature passed Republic Act 3496, which renamed the school the Philippine Constabulary Academy and lengthened its course from 9 months to 3 years, with provisions to strengthen the faculty and revise its curriculum. On 21 December 1936, Commonwealth Act No. 1, also known as the National Defense Act, was passed. The act formally created the Philippine Military Academy and authorized to confer a Bachelor of Science degree to its graduates after they have successfully completed the 4-year course. The outbreak of the World War II disrupted training in the academy. Classes of 1942 and 1943 graduated ahead of schedule, and its members were assigned to combat units of Bataan and other parts of the country. Many perished in the war. On 05 May 1947, the Academy reopened at Camp Henry T. Allen. Due to the need for wider grounds, the Academy moved to its present site at Fort del Pilar in Lawakan, 10 kilometers away from downtown Baguio City, and named after the young hero of Tirad Pass, General Gregorio H. del Pilar. It was developed into a military training institution with facilities and infrastructures required by a growing academy. In the 1960s, the academy underwent major changes as socio-humanistic courses were added to balance the techno-scientific disciplines, with a view towards providing a well-rounded education that is relevant to the needs of a growing AFP.
With the implementation of Republic Act 7192, the acceptance of women in the Academy was introduced. With this act, the Academy made a step towards the recognition of women's status and equality. The female cadets have undergone practically what their male counterparts have been tasked to do. Although living in separate quarters, they have been accorded equal treatment and training. Today, the Philippine Military Academy remains focused on its vision to reach the international standards for military academies by the year 2028 by producing military professional of character dedicated to protect and help build the nation. Its mission adheres to the philosophy that adopts a holistic view of man as body, soul, and spirit. PMA believes that future leaders can be selected, formed, and developed to their fullest potentials. Under this concept, PMA's Leader Development Program contains character development, a balanced college education, military leadership, and physical development. This total person concept is aptly captured in the PMA mission statement: to instruct, train, and develop the cadets so that each graduate shall possess the character, the broad and basic military skills, and the education essential to the successful pursuit of a progressive military career as a value-centered leader in selfless service to our nation. These young men and women in front of you compose the Cadet Corps Armed Forces of the Philippines, coming from different regions of the archipelago, ranging as far north as Batanes to as far south as Tawi-Tawi. They were carefully selected through a series of competitive mental and physical examinations. These cadets represent different levels of our society and from all walks of life. These cadets before you are the future leaders of our armed forces and our nation.
As soon as the platoons occupy their respective places, the brigade adjutant designates Alpha Company as the base company. In a brisk manner called the adjutant's trot, the brigade adjutant makes his way midway between the line of troops and the troop commander. In like manner, the battalion adjutants join their respective battalion staff. The brigade adjutant orders all platoon guides and sergeants to take their posts in line with their platoons.
Tikas! Pahinga!
As the corps is ordered to stand in parade rest, the band shall play a martial tune.
Yudot!
The essential and primary purpose of the Philippine Military Academy's education and training program is to cultivate and develop the cadets to be the finest young individuals, intellectually, tactically, spiritually, emotionally, and physically, to become qualified commissioned officers in selfless service to the armed forces of the Philippines and our nation. The Academy, founded in 1898, has become true to its mission to produce educated and honorable men, preparing them with the holistic education for their progressive military career. Its alumni handle key positions both in military and civilian institutions. For the Academy to accomplish this result, it shall provide to young men and women an undergraduate education of the highest quality, conducted in and facilitated by the unique PMA curriculum of military discipline, with emphasis placed on qualities of courage, integrity, and loyalty. And because of these thrusts, she was able to produce valor awardees who served as true affirmation that indeed the Filipino is worth living and dying for. PMA is a state-supported academic institution that has a glorious history to cherish. It provides a well-rounded education and training, delving on character development, academic excellence, military professionalism, and physical development. The PMA curriculum is specifically designed to produce leaders for peace or war. Because of a rapidly changing security environment, the Academy formulated its 2028 roadmap in order to align its goals with the Armed Forces of the Philippines Defense Planning Guidance and Transformation Roadmap. This roadmap will also be guided by the policies from higher headquarters such as the Internal Peace and Security Plan and the Defense System of Management. The PMA program has been based for more than 100 years on the concept of selfless service of military profession for our nation.
PMA's multifaceted program is demanding. Cadet life is designed to instill in each cadet a lifelong concept of love for God and country, courage, duty, excellence, honor, humility, integrity, loyalty, respect, and solidarity. Because cadets live and coexist in close association with fellow cadets, respect for the right of others becomes their way of life. This is the spirit of the Honor Code. This is their most cherished possession. Strong religious convictions are fully respected, and high moral principles are fully encouraged inside the Academy. Therefore, every effort is made to create at the Academy an intellectual atmosphere within which cadets may mature in their religious beliefs. Cadets attend denominational church services of their preference, inside and outside the Academy, where they will find a warm welcome at various cadet-oriented programs, including Bible study, Sunday school, church choirs, and church-sponsored social activities. Finally, after 4 long years of hard work and training comes graduation. This event means a promotion of the plebes to yearlings. To the third-class cadets, it is another year of completion closer to their goals. To the second-class cadets, this signals that they shall assume overall leadership of the Corps. And to the seniors, graduation signifies the beginning of a life of selfless service to our country and people as regular officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines.
Mga talupa, dumanda at tanghal sandata.
The audience is requested to stand and is encouraged to sing with pride the Philippine national anthem.
Mga pinuno, pugay kamay. No!
Thank you. You may now be seated.
Mga pinuno, baba. No! Baba! Sandata! No! Handa na po ang patikas! Sumalunan ka! Mga pinuno, antabay bunot. Kalis.
In a short while, the brigade commander will give a series of commands for the corps to execute the Manual of Arms.
Pagsasanay sa paghawak ng sandata sa kanang balikat.
Starting with
Ta!
right shoulder arms,
Sa kaliwang balikat. Ta!
left shoulder arms,
Agap. Ta!
port arms,
Baba. Ta!
order arms,
Siyasat. Ta!
inspection arms,
Agap. Ta! Baba.
and finally,
Ta!
order arms.
Katin first class Alparo, tanggapin ang ulat.
The brigade commander orders the adjutant to account the troops.
mag-ulat.
After receiving the reports, the brigade adjutant faces about, salutes, and renders to the brigade commander, "Sir, the corps all present and accounted for."
Ino, mga talupad, naritong lahat at napag-alaman.
The brigade commander then orders the adjutant to publish the order of the day.
Ihayag ang kautusan. Makinig! Sa kautusan, ang nakatalaga ngayon, punong tagapamahala, magatrabi sa utos ni General Brigues, mga pinuno, pumarap at pumagit na God!
After publishing the orders, the brigade adjutant gives the command officer censor march. He then proceeds to his position with the brigade staff. As cadet officers from each battalion march forward to receive instructions from the brigade commander.
Communications, orders, and disseminations must pass through proper channels. This is a practice observed in the military profession which signifies the importance of the chain of command. Through the chain of command, a more effective and efficient working arrangement results among men of arms. Now, approaching the grandstand, ladies and gentlemen, are the members of the chain of command. The officers of the Cadet Corps Armed Forces of the Philippines. Upon the salute of his officers, the brigade commander acknowledges, gives his instructions, and directs them to proceed back to their respective posts. While inside the hallowed grounds of this great institution, the cadets must endure the challenging training. The military system characterizes and distinguishes the unique life inside PMA. It fosters punctuality, order, discipline, and respect for authority. By placing cadets in challenging situations, it enables these young men and women to advance through self-reliance, initiative, and strength of character.
The Brigade Commander presents the Corps to our guest of honor, His Excellency Benigno S. Aquino III, President, Republic of the Philippines and Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Philippines.
Tanghal! Po!
May we request everyone to stand.
Mga pinuno tanghal. Po!
Thank you. You may now be seated.
Mga pinuno baba. Ta! Dadala. Kalis. Baba! Ta! Mahal na Pangulo, handa na po ang mga talupad upang libutin.
Military ceremonial parades have been established to bestow honor to the Philippine flag, our national symbol. Recipients of awards and decorations are also accorded this honor. This is followed by the inspection of the troops if the reviewing officer so desires. Over the course of his term, President Benigno S. Aquino III, our Commander-in-Chief and leader, has tirelessly worked to restore the Filipino people's capacity to hope and to succeed in every possible aspect of governance, from improving our competitiveness to fighting corruption, from instilling a culture of honesty and transparency in governance to truly upgrading our defense capacities. The Philippines has made significant progress under the President's leadership. Because of good governance, we witnessed our nation's fastest six-year period of economic growth since the late 1970s, bringing us to the cusp of even greater economic advancement, one which ensures no one is left behind. During his term, the Philippines has shed its distinction as the sick man of Asia and has been hailed as Asia's new tiger, Asia's new darling, and Asia's bright spot. Our positions in various global rankings reinforce these claims, as President Aquino's leadership has seen us rise 38 places in the World Economic Forum's Global Competitiveness Report and 39 places in the Heritage Foundation's Index of Economic Freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, trooping the line before you is our guest of honor, His Excellency Benigno S. Aquino III, President, Republic of the Philippines, and Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Philippines. He is accompanied by Major General Donato B. San Juan II, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Superintendent, Philippine Military Academy, and by Cadet First Captain Denzel O. Carpuz, CCAFP. The President, a defender of the vulnerable and an enabler of those who commit themselves to the flag, has also given staunch support to the security sector. There is the AFP Modernization and Capacity Upgrade Program, for which the Aquino administration released 58.43 billion pesos from July 2010 to February 2016. These exceeds by a wide margin the previous administrations released. This helps ensure that those who risk their lives for our nation are given the support they need to maximize their efficiency as well as their capacity to protect themselves and their brothers in arms. Indeed, all these positive reforms are but the start of a great chapter in the enduring narrative of the Filipino people. We can only imagine that the even greater things to come with the continuation of competent, principled, and selfless leadership. There is no doubt that if succeeding presidents can sustain our nation to the straight path to progress, then our country will go farther along, realizing more dreams for the future generations.
Po.
Ladies and gentlemen, our guest of honor, His Excellency Benigno S. Aquino III, President of the Republic of the Philippines and Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Philippines.
Ang mga kadeteng nakatakdang mamuno, humarap at pumagitna.
You may now be seated.
God! Mga pinunsumligod. God! Mga pinuno pasulong. God! Mga pinuno. To.
At this juncture, we shall now proceed with the formal turnover of the CCAFP chain of command.
Mga pinuno. Antabay salong. Kalis. Tas. Sak. Ba. Mga kadeteng, nakatakdang mamuno, Pugay kamay! Na! Mga pinuno, pugay kamay. Na! Mga kadeteng! Namumuno! Pugay kamay! No! Mga pinuno, pugay kamay. No! Mga pinuno, baba kamay. No! Mga pinuno. Mga kadeteng! Namumuno! Baba kamay! No! Mga pinuno, baba kamay. Ah. Mga kadeteng! Nakatakdang mamuno! Baba kamay! Na!
At this juncture, we shall now witness the formal turnover of the CCAFP Chain of Command, starting with the platoon leaders. Company commanders. Battalion commanders and staff. Brigade staff. And finally, the brigade commander.
Thank you for the never-ending support. Take charge to the cause.
Sir, thank you for the trust. I'll take charge of the corps. Ang mga kadeteng, nakatakdang magsipagtapos, humarap at pumagit na. God! Mga pinuno. Stop.
You have just heard the sound of the attention call, which signals the entrance of the graduating cadets.
Pasulong! God! Mga pinuno. Kaliwa. Rap. Mga pinuno, pasulong. God! Mga pinuno. Go! Ginoo, ang mga kadeteng magsisipagtapos, narito na po ang lahat.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, good morning. We will now witness the commencement exercises of the PMA Gabay Laya Class of 2016. May I request everyone to please rise for the invocation, to be led by Brigadier General Tirso A. Dolina, Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Chief Chaplain, Chaplain Service, AFP.
People of faith, let us offer our prayer. In freedom and in peace, let us worship alone our God of mercy and compassion. O Creator of life, deep in our hearts, we believe and trust in you. As we direct the attention of our minds and the devotion of our hearts to your sacred and eternal presence in our life. As we gather on these hallowed grounds for the graduation ceremony of PMA Gabay Laya Class of 2016. On behalf of these cadets who are about to graduate and to be commissioned as officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, we beseech you to accept our humble supplications. Most gracious God, we bow to you in thanksgiving, for you sustain the health, endowed with knowledge, and shape the character of these cadets with mind, heart, and spirit transformed through their academic and military training in order to attain through discipline and sacrifice the diploma that they honorably deserve. Sanctify the life of these young men and women, O God, as they make the sacred oath to protect the people and to secure our sovereignty and territory. Direct them as they fulfill their mandate as military officers endowed with courage, integrity, and loyalty. When duty calls them to accomplish the mission as peacemakers and peacekeepers, direct them to remain steadfast, to follow the straight path and to abide with your sacred voice in their conscience, to respect human rights and to protect human life. But we believe and acknowledge, O God, that without your grace, human to fail. Without your protection, we are exposed to the perils of this mortal existence. Without your guidance, we live our life without purpose and meaning. So in loving faith and confidence, we entrust these graduating cadets to your divine providence and protection. Shield them against the enemy of body and soul. Strengthen their will to resist temptation. Sustain them with your constant provision. Continue to bestow your blessings upon the Philippine Military Academy. Bless our honored guests, the loving parents, brothers and sisters, families and loved ones. Hear their silent prayers and reward their vicarious sacrifices. With sincerity, we implore your distinct benediction on His Excellency Benigno Simeon Aquino III, our President and Commander-in-Chief. Finally, may the God of life, the God of providence, the God of our history and destiny, bless, protect, and prosper us and our country, the Philippines, in peace. All this we humbly pray through the loving intercession of the Blessed Mother, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. We will now hear the welcome remarks of the Superintendent of the Philippine Military Academy, Major General Donato B. San Juan II, Armed Forces of the Philippines.
His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Philippines and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, our guest of honor and speaker, Benigno S. Aquino III, the Vice President of the Philippines, the Honorable Jejo C. Binay, the Secretary of National Defense, Honorable Walter T. Gasmin, sir. Sir, Cadet Second Class Marom, sir. Please give Tikas Paya.
Tikos! No! Mga pinuno, tikas. No!
Thank you. The Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of the Philippines, General Hernando D.C. Riberi, Major Service Commanders, present, Lieutenant General Eduardo M. Año of the Philippine Army, Vice Admiral Cesar Tacad, Flag Officer in Command of the Philippine Navy, and Lieutenant General Edgar Falurina of the Philippine Air Force, Congressman Nicasio Aliping, Lone District of Baguio, Governor of the Province of Benguet, Honorable Nestor B. Fongwan, Mayor of Baguio City and Chairman of the Host Parents Association, Honorable Mauricio Dumogan, members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the Foreign Armed Forces present, former superintendents present, my dear parents, relatives, and families of the graduating class, members of the Cadet Corps, the PMA Gabay Laya class of 2016, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. A pleasant morning to all of you, and welcome to the 111th Commencement exercises of the Philippine Military Academy. Congratulations to all of the graduates for successfully hurdling the very challenging years at the Academy. Today, you have fulfilled what all of us present here share, especially your parents, foster families in Baguio City, as well as during your southern cruise, friends and relatives to graduate proudly from the premier military institution in the country. And for that, I would like to offer this moment to your parents and loved ones who I believe have eagerly prepared themselves to join you and witness your graduation. More than anybody else, your parents and loved ones deserve the highest distinction for all the love and support they have provided you in all the days of your stay at the Academy. They too shared in your difficulties and your triumphs day after day. And so, let us give the grandest recognition to the proud parents and the biggest round of applause. Palakpakan po natin sila. To the members of PMA Class 2016, you now belong to the long line of proud PMA alumni. With this, we hope that you will live up to your roles as responsible cavaliers who are very much accountable, not only to our alma mater, but also to the Filipino people. With your achievement as PMA sons and daughters, you also become accountable to the whole community, but to the rest of the Philippine nation, which we all have sworn to protect and defend. Prestige is not the only thing our organization gives us. It also inspires us, among us, the responsibility and accountability that we all should be conscious of all time. As we fully serve with pride, dignity, and honor the military institutions in our nation. A few months from now, you will find yourself immersed in the workings and dealings of the Army, Air Force, and Navy. As you fill up your first duty assignment, count yourselves very lucky for your peace existence, your officer preparatories, and on-the-job training, the many lectures given, and even your personal observations have impressed upon you that the AFP is now at double time at achieving our vision. Our dedicated personnel of the entire academic community are truly inspired, working hard to fully align all of their efforts towards synergy in achieving our PMA's strategic objectives. At this point, allow me to thank our Commander-in-Chief, His Excellency Benigno S. Aquino III, for the vision and unwavering support and the wholehearted trust you have given leaders of tomorrow. Last year, Jurado Hall, a perfect venue for indoor sports training, was completed. And this year, we look forward to the completion of the renovation of the cadet mess hall and the construction of the new cadet barracks, which is able to house 450 cadets. Once again, sir, in behalf of PMA, please accept our sincere gratitude. So to the next generation of new lieutenants, it is on this note that your entry to the AFP is very fortunate, and your commitment and teamwork are greatly needed. In particular, your support and dedication to our efforts at the organizational level would be of great help. In a few months, right around the time you will be reporting to your respective major services, the 2016 national elections shall take place. It will be your duty to ensure clean, honest, and peaceful elections. Take the lead in upholding the sanctity of the ballot and the integrity of each voter, because one vote can make a world of difference. With that said, I expect no less than your solid commitment to the AFP's trust. Your new stature as officers will open up new areas of opportunities as well as challenges for you insofar as the AFP's programs are concerned. And so, I encourage each member of the PMA Class 2016 to be a proactive member of our organization for the good of our organization. The AFP places its abundant trust on you. Carry it on proudly, responsibly, excellently, and above all, honestly. To the Filipino people, may I present to you your vanguards for peace, the 63 strong members of the Gabay Laya class of 2016. Again, to all of you, welcome to the long gray line and congratulations. Mabuhay tayong lahat.
Thank you very much, sir. At this juncture, we will now witness the presentation of the graduates by the Dean of Academics, Colonel Joseph P. Villanueva, General Staff Corps, Corps of Professors.
Sir, I have the honor to present to you the graduating class of 2016. 63 strong. They have satisfactorily completed all the requirements of the course of study of the Philippine Military Academy. I therefore recommend that to be conferred the degree of Bachelor of Science.
For having satisfactorily completed all the requirements of the course of study in the Philippine Military Academy and upon the recommendation of the Academic Board, the PMA Superintendent will now declare the members of PMA Class 2016 graduates and confer upon them the Bachelor of Science degree.
By the authority vested in me as the Superintendent of the Philippine Military Academy, I hereby declare you the members of Gabay Laya class of 2016 graduates and confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Science effective this date. Congratulations.
We shall now witness the distribution of diplomas and presentation of awards. The President of the Republic of the Philippines and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, His Excellency Benigno S. Aquino III, will present the diplomas and the awards. The PMA Superintendent, Major General Donato B. San Juan II, Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Commander of Cadets, Brigadier General Rosano D. Briguez, Armed Forces of the Philippines, and the Dean of Academics, Colonel Joseph P. Villanueva, General Staff Corps, Corps of Professors, will assist the President.
We will now call on the graduating class according to the military precedence list. The military precedence list is determined by their overall performance in all the academic and tactics courses during their stay in the academy. Cadet First Class Christian Dave Gelasio Abique, San Pablo, Isabela. For graduating number 1 in the military precedence list of Class 2016, the Presidential Sabre is awarded to Cadet First Class Christian Dave Gelasio Abique. The award is presented by His Excellency Benigno S. Aquino III, President of the Republic of the Philippines. For being the number 1 graduating cadet joining the Philippine Navy, the Philippine Navy Sabre is awarded to Cadet First Class Christian Dave Gelasio Abique. The award is presented by Vice Admiral Cesar C. Tacad, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Flag Officer in Command, Philippine Navy. Cadet First Class Christian Dave Gelasio Abique is also a recipient of the Academic Group Award, General Antonio Luna Award, Australian Defense Best Overall Performance Award, JUSMAG Award, Department of Humanities Plaque, Department of Mathematics Plaque, and the Navy Professional Courses Plaque.
Cadet First Class Christine May Naungayan Kalima, Bolinao, Pangasinan. For graduating number 2 in the Military President's List of PMA Class 2016, the Vice Presidential Sabre is awarded to Cadet First Class Christine May Naungayan Kalima. The award is presented by the Honorable Jejomar C. Binay, Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines. For being the #1 graduating cadet joining the Philippine Air Force, the Philippine Air Force Sabre is awarded to Cadet First Class Christine May Naungayan Kalima. The award is presented by Lieutenant General Edgar R. Faliorina, Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Commanding General, Philippine Air Force. Cadet First Class Christine May Naungayan Kalima is also the recipient of the following awards: the Tactics Group Award, Aguinaldo Sabre, Association of Generals and Flag Officers Award, Spanish Armed Forces Award, Department of Management Plaque, Department of Social Sciences Plaque, Department of Tactical Officers Plaque, Department of Leadership Plaque, and the Air Force Professional Courses Plaque. Cadet First Class RB Jurist Azman Cabrera, Kawayan City, Isabela. For graduating #3 in the Military President's List of PMA Class 2016, the Secretary of National Defense Sabre is awarded to Cadet First Class RB Jurist Azman Cabrera. The award is presented by the Honorable Voltaire T. Gazmin, the Secretary of the Department of National Defense.
Cadet First Class Joseph Stalin Abara Fagsao, Madela Quirino. For being the #1 graduating cadet joining the Philippine Army, the Philippine Army Sabre is awarded to Cadet First Class Joseph Stalin Abara Fagsao. The award is presented by Lieutenant General Eduardo M. Año, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Commanding General, Philippine Army. Cadet First Class Joseph Stalin Abara Fagsao is also a recipient of the Australian Defense Best Overall Performance Award, Computing and Information Sciences Plaque, and the Army Professional Courses Plaque. Cadet First Class Jason Jess Ananayo Tumitit, Baguio City. Cadet First Class Mark Joseph Cabanit Daria, Bangar, La Union. Cadet First Class Ace Uy Clarianes, Libmanan, Camarines Sur. Cadet First Class Prince Marens Regodon Aday, Santa Cruz, Davao del Sur. Cadet First Class George Bernard de Guzman Garcia, Labrador, Pangasinan. Cadet First Class Gerald Manyo Gasakaw, Mekawayan City, Bulacan. For being the #1 graduating cadet in athletics and other sports-related activities, the Athletics Sabre Award is awarded to Cadet First Class Gerald Manyo Gasakaw. The award is presented by Honorable Mauricio Dumogan, Mayor of Baguio City. Cadet First Class Reynante Sumile Tanyo, Surala, South Cotabato. Cadet First Class Reynante Sumile Tanyo is also a recipient of the Sports and Physical Development Plaque. Cadet First Class BJ Albert Legaspi Junio, San Quintin, Pangasinan. Cadet First Class Leoncio Nico Acosta de Jesus II, Quezon City. Cadet First Class Brian Christopher Camral Umaging, Quezon City. Cadet First Class Hans Alvin Paulo Luneza, Makati City.
Cadet First Class Denzel Olarte Corpuz, Pasay City. For being the Brigade Commander of the Cadet Corps Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Chief of Staff Sabre is awarded to Cadet First Class Denzel Olarte Corpuz. The award is presented by General Hernando Delfin Carmelo A. Iriberi, Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Chief of Staff, AFP. Cadet First Class Jervin Maniego Samonte, Angadanan, Isabela. Cadet First Class Altam Atun Beya, Bakakay, Albay. Cadet First Class Marlon Merculio Aquino, Victoria, Tarlac. Cadet First Class Jezreel Manalo Ilaw, Sipocot, Camarines Sur. Cadet First Class Emmanuel Paulo Pangalangan Flores, Tarlac City. Cadet First Class Jason Sagun Bambilya, Lasam, Cagayan Valley. Cadet First Class Darrell Dakusen Domokmat, Coner, Apayao. Cadet First Class Bongino Carrion Estrada, Labangan, Zamboanga del Sur.
Cadet First Class Mark Ryan Yanguas Espejo, Tarlac City. Cadet First Class Christian Alan Paul Bauya, Santa Cruz, Davao del Sur. Cadet First Class Weljin Naranga Dagohoy, Murcia, Negros Occidental. Cadet First Class Danica Jane Tadios Padua, Tantangan, South Cotabato. Cadet First Class Manuel Hagimit Cajote Jr., Mabalacat, Pampanga. Cadet First Class Jade Homer Diaz Bilbao, Tulunan, North Cotabato. Cadet First Class Hervey Labares Lamoste, Santa Rita, Western Samar. Cadet First Class Chiward Valmadrid Bangayan, Tondo, Manila. Cadet First Class Carl Angelo Lesano Torres, Mataas na Kahoy, Batangas. Cadet First Class John Gerard Cinco Racho, Lanang, Davao City.
Cadet First Class Emmanuel Montaño Taktay, Iloilo City. Cadet First Class Brian Marvin Patnugot Tabor, Baguio City. Cadet First Class Ryan Paul Macarandan Palado, Zamboanga City. Cadet First Class Jezreel Duran Vizcaino, Aurora, Zamboanga del Sur. Cadet First Class Justin de los Reyes Alfaro, Isabela City, Basilan. Cadet First Class Christopher Gacusan Bañez, Dupax del Sur, Nueva Vizcaya. Cadet First Class Ashley May Ancheta del Rosario, San Jose, Nueva Ecija. Cadet First Class Jerome Eda Tangonan, Santo Tomas, Isabela. Cadet First Class Mark Carlo del Mundo Tocino, Malbar, Batangas. Cadet First Class Arvin Clark Carbakil Talco, Candoni, Negros Occidental.
Cadet First Class, Rex Carag Busilan, Makati City. Cadet First Class, Aljosh Iman Abanador Ariola, Bacoor, Cavite. Cadet First Class, Daugas Arquero Daudawen, Gamu, Isabela. Cadet First Class, Jovinal Tugik Gumilab, Tinglayan, Kalinga. Cadet First Class, Stephen John Carmona Lianda, Bislig City, Surigao del Sur. Cadet First Class, Joseph Cyril Cabiling Tolentino, Albuera, Leyte. Cadet First Class, John Kevin Sapitanan Montes, Muntinlupa City. Cadet First Class, Rhea Nolasco Ablaneda, Mercedes Camarines Norte. Cadet First Class, Consuelo Julia Abriel Orsia, Lipa City, Batangas. Cadet First Class, Mark Stranger Pasking Ulao, Sadanga Mountain Province.
Cadet First Class, John Lawrence Constantino Calma, Murcia, Negros Occidental. Cadet First Class, Boniven Paez Venequito, San Carlos City. Cadet First Class, Aaron Ed Baer Ramos, Candon City. Cadet First Class, Kevin Bagood Bautista, Tago, Surigao del Sur. Cadet First Class, Michael Paraiso Bangkud, Tuguegarao City. Cadet First Class, Mark Nel Malangin Dolotalias, Imus, Cavite. Cadet First Class, Jed Paulo Ramirez Makatangay, Lipa City. And Cadet First Class, Jean Carla Macaraeg Bermudez, Parañaque City. At this point, we shall now hear the valedictory address of Cadet First Class Christian Dave Galasio Abique, Cadet Corps, Armed Forces of the Philippines.
His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, President Benigno Simeon Aquino III, the Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines, Honorable Jejomar Binay, sir, the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, General Hernando Iriberi, Armed Forces of the Philippines, sir, the Secretary of the Department of National Defense, Honorable Voltaire T. Gasmin, sir, other major service commanders present, officers, relatives, friends, parents of the graduating class of 2016, and of course, the members of PMA Gabay Laya class of 2016. Before I start my speech, may I ask everyone to do me a favor? Very quickly, please turn to the person to your right and tell them, congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. For this graduation is not our efforts alone. It is but an everyone's dream, struggle, and determination. To our families, townmates, the Philippine Military Academy, to the Armed Forces of the Philippines, and to the Filipino people, this is our collective effort. Exactly 5 years ago, my mother cried when I left college, not because I will no longer pursue my studies and graduate, but because she was afraid that her only son will going to join the danger and the noble of this profession of arms. She didn't want me to become a soldier, but I told my mother to trust me. Exactly 5 years ago on the same account, my friends in college or present here today even laughed at me. Not because I will no longer pursue my studies and graduate, but because they couldn't even imagine that I will going to enter soldiery. They even told me that there will be no booze and no liberty inside the academy, but simply I told them, trust me. So today, to those who have trusted me, and even those who still can't believe that I can graduate in the Philippine Military Academy, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot but feel any more proud and honored to speak in front of you in this 111th commencement exercises of the nation's premier military academy, our Philippine Military Academy. Indeed, the 4 long years of training in this institution have painted poignant stories for all of us. A story that started sometime in 2012, where 20,201 young carefree civilians hope to be part of these young men and women in front of you. From the agonizing beast barracks, where the greatest teaching of survivability is courage, we have learned how to survive. The overstretched years of being a yearling, where we mastered ourselves and mentored our bodies, taught us to deeply understand our moral fortitude, where morality reverberates the call for integrity. Second-class years sought to emphasize fidelity that serve as a platform to balance various interests of our seniors and juniors. And of course, the graduation, the first class year, we have comprehended and gauged how deep we had imbibed the honor code during the treasured years of stay in this academy. To my classmates, as we are about to end the chapter of those 20,200 young men who hope and dream and aspired to be part of our group, brace yourselves and be proud that even if you may be the 63rd of that rank, you must be very proud because you have bested around 20,000 young men and women. You are the masterpiece of that long and tedious story crafted by the values of courage, integrity, and loyalty, and of course, honor. The masterpiece of the Philippine Military Academy and the masterpiece of the whole nation. But since every masterpiece has its own purpose, as we step out in the fortress, let us start to write again the story of fulfilling that purpose. Truly, it is of equal privilege and honor to acknowledge the people behind our success. In behalf of the graduating class of 2016, let me extend our deepest gratitude to the following. To the underclass cadets. For the past 5 years, the Immaculates reigned in this much-awaited event for the Clash of the Classes that happened last Monday. But this year, the trophy went to the second-class cadets. But this is not something to be ashamed of, because it speaks a lot about how development runs in the Corps. In fact, we are happy over the results. And as we part, let me share my insights on the competition just passed. To the fourth placer, the fourth class cadets, you are the best example that you should never outshine your seniors. But kidding aside, it means that you need to strive and practice some more. There is so much to learn in the academy, but you cannot learn it instantly. Let me repeat on that. You have so much to learn in the academy, but you cannot learn it instantly. It is a long and rigorous but exciting process. Of course, to the second placer, to the third class cadets, it means that you are now ready to handle your incoming squad mate this April 1. But it also suggests that you have to cope with the challenges. To the champions, the second class cadets, congratulations. I hope it will speak well of your future endeavors as you assume overall leadership of the Corps. Keep that consistency. Throughout your leadership, retain the good things we imparted, even though small they may be, and learn from those experiences that you believe are imperative for the growth and development of the Corps. You are now ready to take post and lead the Cadet Corps Armed Forces of the Philippines. We are not losers, but we are winners with the fact that as your immediate upper class and you as our immediate underclass, you understand the fairness of competition and did even better than what we had achieved. For this, we consider ourselves winners as well, for we push you to give the best in the fairness of competition. Truly, we have mentored you as leaders and not merely as followers. Thank you for being part of who we are now as a class. To our professors, officers, mentors, instructors, collectively and individually, you are the greatest artists of this masterpiece in front of you. I cannot find exact words how to explain the dedication and commitment you have shown to us. I cannot even tender our farewell, for I know that we will still look for you in the future and ask your guidance. We may forget how to solve the sigmas of statistics, the technicalities of law, or even the limits of calculus, but not the lessons of life you have imparted to us. You may have been sometimes, if not often, strict, but we want to thank you for teaching us not to settle for anything less, knowing that we can do better. You may have sometimes inconsiderate, but we thank you for reminding us that we should never dilly-dally in what it needs to be done. Your efforts are highly regarded. To this institution that trained us to become soldiers, molded us to become leaders, and honed us to serve our nation and our beloved alma mater, thank you. With mixed feeling of euphoria and trepidation, your sons and daughters now humbly standing in front, bid farewell. But rest assured that your teachings will not go naught. As we leave, we will carry the fire in our hearts and keep burning our desire to serve. We will keep aglow the hopes of our people to help us vanguard our nation. We will be true on our words, the assurance that we will let our future generations see that our country is free. To the armed forces of the Philippines, to the Philippine Army, Philippine Air Force, and of course, to the Philippine Navy, thank you for providing us an excellent training. Rest assured, it will be valued forever. To the Filipino people, thank you for keeping that faith in unequivocally producing young breeds of soldiers who will protect our shores and safeguard our freedom. You are our greatest inspiration because you are the reason for our existence. In today's changing world, the standards of unity have become a bit more complicated. You cannot just talk and you need to listen. You cannot just listen, you need to understand. You cannot just understand, but you need to be understood. Although we may have different colors, different perspectives, different dialects, different ideologies, and different objectives, but rest assured that this objective must have a mutual inclusivity for peace and prosperity. Today, you can always count on us as new breed of servers of the land. Sa paglabas po namin sa akademyang ito ay sabay-sabay nating haharapin ang usapin tungkol sa problemang panlipunan. Katulad din po ninyo, ang malayang talakayan sa puntong pangkapayapaan ay may labis na importansya. Naniniwala po ako na ang isang mapayapang lipunan ay isang maunlad na lipunan. Isang lipunang malaya sa opresyon, pang-aabuso at pang-aapi, at hindi nagpapairal ng dahas at kasakiman. Marami tayong problemang dapat tugunan. Huwag natin itong pagdalamhatian, bagkus ay atin itong solusyonan. Makakaasa po kayo na magiging parte kami ng solusyon sa malawakang hamon na ito. At hiling lang po namin ang inyong pagtitiwala. Mula sa hanay ng magsisipagtapos, maraming salamat pong muli sa buong sambayanang Pilipino. In retrospect, let me extend for a while and take this moment to prefer my gratitude to various people and institutions where I dragged the tools I carry to build the foundation to reach this moment. To Cabagan Science Elementary School in Cabagan, Isabela, to Regional Science High School in Tumawin, Isabela, to the University of the Philippines, sa mga kapwa kong scholar ng bayan, hindi man po ako sumablay ay patuloy kong pagyayamanin ang adhikaing ito para sa isang malayang bukas. To UP Beta Nu Epsilon, to my brethren from the International Order of Dimuli, to the members of Discussion and Debate Society, Environmentalist Club, Mathematics Club, Science Club, Mess Council, Academic Officers Council, to the ECO family, thank you for trusting my leadership. to the Ayala Young Leaders Congress family, Batch Tangguyog, to Mia, to my foster mother, Dr. Amparo Rimas, and to Kuya Marlon and Kuya Dondi. Thank you. Thank you so much. Tangaming nga Isabilino, aryak ko magawagawa ipabalabalo kuni kamungaming, taminanga ana intero San Pablo, mabalo ta suporta na pangididuon nunyakan. Mas serbi na ko ang yawe nga inspirasyon tang, to aru iwayatang maratal, maski ani regiriga na patolay. Mabalabalo nga ani kamungaming. To my family, Ate Kri, Kuya JR, Johan, please stand, and to Ming Maniago. Thank you. And of course, to my parents. First, to my dad. Thank you for being a father to me, a mentor, a teacher. Remember when I was in kindergarten, you want me to learn immediately the volumes of different shapes, different volumetric figures. But Dad, that is not the greatest lesson I learned from you. I learned that from that point in time, I have to strive hard. And to my mom, a few years back, you cried when I aboard the bus going to PMA. Because I left our home, I left my civilian life. But I think this moment is the right moment for me to say sorry. And I will going to give to you the same handkerchief you handed me upon boarding the bus. This handkerchief is not for you to think that I will be going back home, but for this handkerchief, for you to realize that this is the greater challenge I have to live again for the country. This is everything for you. And of course, finally, to the Lord Almighty, I am offering everything to Him. To my classmates, the Gabay Laya class of 2016, our class name reads, Gintong Anak ng Bayan, alay ay buhay para sa kalayaan. Our drills, ceremonies, training are not empty forms, but testimonies of our commitment to serve our purpose. These institutions have called to preserve the freedom for the future. For this, I would like to remind ourselves for three things. Firstly, remember that we are a solid line, strengthened and matured by challenges we have faced as a class. Keep holding on to each other because our number, 63, tells us that we know each other more than anyone else. Together we stand. Secondly, remember that we, as sons and daughters of this revered institution, we must uphold the values inherited to us. And lastly, let us remember that wherever we go, our beloved institution must be proud of the person we've become. Before again I end my speech, may I ask everyone again to do me another favor? Very quickly, go to the person in your left, face her or him, and tell him, we've made it. For this graduation again is not our efforts alone, but it is everyone's dream, struggle, and determination. To our families, townmates, Philippine Military Academy, Armed Forces of the Philippines, and to the Filipino people, the whole nation, this is our collective effort for God, for country, for freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, to the class of 2016, let's bring it on. Thank you.
The Secretary of the Department of National Defense, Honorable Voltaire T. Guzmin, will now declare the commission of the 63 members of the Gabay Laya class of 2016.
Pursuant to Section 31 of the National Defense Act as amended, you are hereby commissioned second lieutenants or ensigns in the regular force armed forces of the Philippines. Congratulations.
We shall now witness the oath-taking of our newly commissioned officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. The Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, General Hernando Delfin Carmelo A. Iriberi, Armed Forces of the Philippines, will administer the oath.
Panunumpa ng katungkulan. Mangyari itaas ang kanang kamay at sumunod sa akin. Ako si sabihin ang inyong pangalan. Nang sabihin ang inyong tirahan. Na itinalaga sa katungkulan bilang sabihin ang inyong ranggo. Ay taimtim na nununumpa. Natuto pa rin ko ng buong husay at katapatan. Sa abot ng aking kakayahan. Ang mga tungkulin ng aking kasalukuyang katungkulan. At ng iba pang pagkaraan ito'y gagampanan ko sa ilalim ng Republika ng Pilipinas na aking itataguyod at ipagtatanggol ang saligang batas ng Republika ng Pilipinas na ako'y tunay na mananalig at tatalima rito na susundin ko ang mga batas, mga utos ayon sa batas, at mga dekretong na pinaiiral ng mga sadyang itinakdang may kapangyarihan ng Republika ng Pilipinas. At kusa kong babalikatin ang mga pananagutang ito nang walang anumang pasubali o hangaring umiwas. Kasihan nawa ako ng Diyos. Ibaba ang kamay. Binabati ko kayong lahat.
The members of PMA Class of 2016, after having been declared graduates of the Philippine Military Academy, are now alumni of this revered institution. They shall now take their oath of membership to the PMA Alumni Association Incorporated. To administer the oath is the chairman of the PMAAI, Cavalier Anselmo Avenido.
Oath of membership in the Philippine Military Academy Alumni Association Incorporated. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, state your name, having been accepted as regular member of the Philippine Military Academy Alumni Association Incorporated, do hereby solemnly swear that I will faithfully perform my duties and responsibilities as a member thereof, abide by its articles of incorporation and bylaws, obey the rules and regulations promulgated by its board of directors, uphold the Cavalier's Code of Conduct, adhere to the PMA's motto of courage, integrity, and loyalty, and be guided in all my undertakings in life by the spirit of the Cadet Honor Code, which I have imbibed in my training at the Philippine Military Academy, and that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily without mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Congratulations and welcome to the PMAAI family.
The Secretary of National Defense, Honorable Voltaire T. Gazmin, will now introduce our guest of honor and commencement speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Benigno S. Aquino III, President, Republic of the Philippines, and Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Philippines.
Maraming salamat po, mabuo tayo lahat. Cadet Second Class Maramusar, kindly give the troops tikas penga. Vice President Jejo Marbinay, Secretary Voltaire Gasmin, Secretary Melson and Sarmiento, General Hernando Ireveri, Lieutenant General Eduardo Año, Vice Admiral Cesar Tacad, Lieutenant General Edgar Faljurina, Major General Donato San Juan II, Brigadier General Tirso Dolina, Cavalier Anselmo Benito Jr., Congressman Nick Aliping Jr., Mayor Mauricio Dumogan, Governor Nestor Fongwan, members of the Foreign Armed Forces, other generals and flag officers, men and women of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, PMA, Gabay Laya Class of 2016, Cadet Corps Armed Forces of the Philippines, families and friends of PMA Gabay Laya Class of 2016, fellow workers of government, honor guests, mga minamahal ko pong kababayan, magandang tanghali na po sa inyong lahat. Malagay ko po tulad na ibang mga estudyante, itong mga kadete, sa harapan po natin ang unang-unang katanungan na nakabalot sa kalaisipan. Gaano katagal kaya kung magsasalita, handa na yata ang tanghalian nila. Bibilisan na lang po natin. Ito na nga ang pinakahuling pagtatapos ng Philippine Military Academy na dadaluhan ko sa aking termino bilang inyong pong Pangulo. Sa pagharap ko sa inyo ngayon, aaminin ko, nang una ko pong makita yung napagkasunduan pangalan ng inyong batch, medyo nanlaki po ang mata ko. Para bang ang dating kasi Gabay Laya. No? Gabay Laya, Gabay, Guide, Laya. Kayo mag-guide sa kalayaan nating lahat. Alam po nyo, tanging sandatang lakas lang po ang makakapagtakda. Parang sinasabi ko, tanging sandatas lang ang pwedeng magtakda kung ano ang kalayaan at dapat tangan ng ating po sabayanan. Buti lang po, nung nakita natin yung kabuuan, pero bago nga ho nung naalala natin sa Ligang Batas, Article 2, Section 3, and I quote, civilian authority is at all times supreme over the military. The Armed Forces of the Philippines is the protector of the people and the state. Its goal is to secure the sovereignty of the state and the integrity of the national territory. Bumalik naman po sa normal ang tingin ko na makita kong yung totoo at kompletong ibig sabihin ng batch name niyo, gintong anak ng bayan, alay ay buhay para sa kalayaan. Doon po medyo kumalma po yung ating presyon. Gusto ko nga pong pagdiinan ang tungkulin ng sandatang lakas sa ating demokrasya. Lalo't pat ipinagdiriwang natin ang ika-30 anibersaryo ng EDSA People Power Revolution. Nangyari po sa ating kasaysayan ng isang eksperimento kung saan minsan kayong kinasangkapan para sikilin ng demokrasya at maipatupad ang mga kapritsyo ng isang pamilya. Sa ilalim naman po ng ating ina, ibinalik ang tiwala ng mamamayan sa inyong pong hanay na nangakong pagsisilbihan ang taong bayan. Sa atin sa Dang Matuwid, sama-sama nating hinubog at pinalakas ang sandatang lakas upang higit ninyong magampanan ang inyong tungkulin. Tandaan po natin, sa ating pong lipunan, tanging sandatang lakas lang ang may puwersa na kung makikihalo, lalo na sa politika, may tinatawag pong monopoly of power, tila hindi ho parehas ang usapan. Kaya importante, nasa isip natin parating neutral tayo. lalo na pagdating sa pamumulitika. Nagsasagawa nga tayo ng malawakang modernisasyon at masasabing ang matibay na patunay niyan ay unang pares ng ating brand new na FA-50 aircraft at na ating po binili. Akin lang po, pag dinetalye ko pa ang lahat ng ating ginagawa para sa sandandang lakas, baka abutin tayo rito ng merienda cena, makancel pa, at tatukin na po kayong lahat. Tandaan po natin, may isipin dito ng pambansang seguridad at sa tuwing binabanggit natin ang ating mga bagong kakayahan, para na rin natin tinukoy sa mga kalaban ng Estado kung ano ang dapat nilang pagandaan. Ang masasabi ko na lang po, nasa 68 big-ticket projects na ang ating nakumpleto na nagkakahalagang 58.43 billion pesos. Sa pagpasok ninyo sa serbisyo, kayo na mismo ang makakaalam kung ano na ang makakayahan natin. Yung mga nauna naman sa inyo, pihadong iisang sentimento. Buti pa kayo, dahil isang mas maunlad na AFP ang papasukan ninyo. Kayo naman siguro, lalo na sa Gabay Laya, ang sasabihin, isang magandang PMA naman ang iiwan natin dahil talaga mas maganda na ang mga barracks, sports facilities at iba pa niyong makagamitan at gusali dito sa inyong Port Santiago pinakamamahal. Dahil nga sa buong pagkalingang binibigay sa inyo ng Estado, masasabi natin mas dadali ang buhay ninyo. Tanda ko nga, noong unang beses ako humarap sa sandantang lakas bilang Commander-in-Chief, sumagi po sa isip ko yung eksenang madalas natin makita sa telebisyon kung hindi sa sine. May karakter na gumaganap ng papel na isang ama na tila halos ikatlong eksena ay sinasabi sa kanyang anak, pasensya ka na ha, ito lang ang nakayanan ko. May panahon nga po sa ating sandatahang lakas na ultimong purple na backpack mula sa isang fast food chain ginagamit ng ating kasunduluhan sa sensitibong operasyon. Meron din pong nagkwento sa akin na dito mismo sa PMA nung araw, iisa lang raw po ang barracks na may heater, kaya swertihan na lang kung sino ma-assign sa barracks na yon. Yung iba, naliligo po sa pagka-aga-aga, basta sumigat ang araw, sa malamig na tubig, ang estilo lang po nila matutong mag-adapt and overcome. Sa totoo lang, hindi biro ang presyo ng mga kagamitang pinagkakaloob natin sa ating mga sundalo. Halimbawa po, pagkalala ko, segunda manong C-130, ang halaga po $40 million pataas ang presyo. Sa piso po, nasa 1.8 billion pesos po yan. Katumbas ng 109 na school building. Yung budget ng bayan, di naman maaaring pawang ilaan lang sa sandatahang lakas. Alalahanin po natin sa classical economics yung tinatawag na debate ng guns versus butter. Ilalagay ba, kung dadalawa lang ang pagpipilian ng isang estado, ilalagay ba natin lahat sa guns o ilalagay ba natin lahat sa butter? Parati hong sinasabi, kailangan may balanse. Malinaw na may pangangailangan dapat tugunan. Tandaan din natin, higit sa 2% ng ating populasyon tayo nag-umpisa humaharap sa talagang sadla, yung napakalalim na kahirapan. Pero sa mabuti pamamahala, masasabi natin lahat ng ating sektor talagang natutukan, walang maiiwan. Bilang ama ng bayan, paano naman akong hindi magagalak? Kung ngayon ang masasabi ko, hindi na pasensya na kayo dahil di ko maibigay ang inyong mga pangangailangan. Kung hindi, pag ating sinuri ang ating pinagdaanan, palagay ko naman po matindi ang karapatan nating lahat na masabing talagang ang dami na nating napagtulungan. Ngayon nga po, nag-iikot tayo sa ating mga probinsya at talagang masasabi nating di lang tayo basta may nagawa. Kung hindi talagang napakarami na ng ating nagawa dahil sa mabuti pamamahala. Halimbawa, nanggaling po tayo sa lalawigan ng Cebu kung saan ang inilaan para sa infrastruktura lang ng ating sinundan mula 2005 hanggang 2010, 12 bilyong piso. Panahon po natin, pondo, halos 32 bilyong piso ang inilaan sa lalawigan lang ng Cebu. Sa Bohol, ang dating administrasyon naglaan ng 3.75 bilyon. Sa atin naman po, 10.45 bilyong piso para sa infrastruktura pa lang. Isa pang matibay na halimbawa ang pagpapaunlad natin sa Pantawid Pamilya Pilipino Program na mula sa dinatan nating higit 780,000 na kabahayan ay sumusuporta na ngayon sa 4.4 milyong kabahayang benepisyaryo. Ngayong taon, target nating maisara na ang target na 4.6 milyong kabahayan. Sa inisyal pong pag-aaral ukol sa Pantawid Pamilya Pilipino Program, higit 7.7 milyong kababayan na natin ang naitawid sa tinatawag na poverty line. At sa tuloy-tuloy na implementasyon ng programa ay saan ninyong mas maraming Pilipino ang aalpas sa kahirapan. Sa kaso naman ng ating uniformadong hanay, bukod sa iba't ibang uri ng capability enhancement programs na ating isinagawa sa kasalukuyan, nariyan ang pagkalingang nakatuon sa inyong personal na kapakanan at sa kinubukasan ng inyong mahal sa buhay. Halimbawa po, meron na tayong 61,378 housing units na naipatayo sa ilalim ng ating AFP-PNP housing program. Meron din tayong mga livelihood program para sa ating mga kawal, retirado o aktibo man. Gaya na lang ng ating pinapatupad sa Fort Magsaysay sa Nueva Ecija. Nitong Pebrero naman, pinirmahan na natin Executive Order Number 201 na saklaw ang tuloy-tuloy na pagtaas ng inyong monthly hazard pay, pati na rin ang inyong provisional allowance. Actually po, yung provisional allowance ang tuloy-tuloy na pataas. Hazard pay ay naitaas na. Ating officers allowance mula ngayong taon at pag naipasa ng Kongreso hanggang sa 2019. Nariyan din ang paglalaanan natin ng inyong monthly combat pay, kasama na rin ang aumento sa inyong subsistence allowance. Hinihintay din natin nga, nabanggit na po, salary standardization law na nabinbin sa Kongreso. Buti na nga lang at may alokasyon na tayo sa ating pambansang budget, kaya nagawa nating taasan itong mga allowance punto. Sa paintulot ng Kongreso, sana magtuloy yung ating Salary Standardization Law 4 hanggang taong 2019. Napag-uusapan na rin natin ang mga naipit na panukala. Alam naman ninyo na sa Daang Matuwid ay talagang sinikap natin isulong ang peace process. Bumuo tayo ng ugnayang nakabatay sa tiwala at sa tiwalang kasama ng MILF. Alam po natin ang kasabihan, ang kasunduluhan ang huling magnanais na magkaroon ng kaguluhan. Sila nga ang unang sasabak sa idwan, sila ang unang magsasakripisyo, at sila ang unang malalagay sa peligro. Nariyan po ang panukalang Bangsamoro Basic Law, kasama ng Framework Agreement at Comprehensive Agreement on the Bangsamoro. Hangad natin maghatid ng katarungan, kapayapaan at kaunlaran sa Bangsamoro. Ang masakit po, may 2 membro ng Senado na taas ang hinarang ang BBL. Dito ko naalala yung sinasabi ng mga nakakatanda. Sige, maliwanag na ayaw mo. Ano naman ang gusto mo? Ang 2 membro ito ng Senado naiwan na lang sa ayaw nang walang nilalatag na mas mainam na solusyon. Kayo na nga po ang humusga kung sino sa amin ang nagkulang at kung sino naman ang tumutuo sa inyo. Ito nga po ang mensaheng gusto kong iwan sa inyo. Ang sabi natin sa Daang Matuwid, pagbaba ko sa pwesto, di hamak na mas magandang kalagayan ng ating bansa. Kita naman ninyo mula sa suporta sa inyong kagamitan, kakayahan at maging sa inyong kinabukasan at kapakanan. Talagang ginagawa natin ang ating makakaya at lampas-lampas pa natin o nilampasan na natin ang ating mga unang inambisyon. Kayo na lang ang makakapagsabi kung gumanda ba o lumala ang inyong kalagayan. Ngayong kaharap ko kayo, gusto kong sabihin talagang ipinagmamalaki ko kayong lahat. Pagbaba sa pwesto at sa paglipas ng panahon, di na mabubura sa kaisipan ko ang imahen ng ating kasunduluhan, kapulisan, bumbero at iba pang kasaping bubuo ng ating uniformadong hanay na talagang nagpapamalas ng kadakilaan sa serbisyo. Sa kasagsagan lang ng bagyo, anumang tindi ng lakas ng hangin o buhos ng ulan, nariyan kayo, nililinis ang mga kalsada para sa kaligtasan ng ating mga kababayan. Noong Yolanda, sa unang-unang pagkakataon, nagliparan ng ating mga helicopter para ma-clear yung airport sa Tacloban. Dahil dito, nakababa ang mga C-130, dala ang ayuda, wala pang 20 oras sa pagdaan ng Bagyong Yolanda. Krisis sa Zamboanga, katangi-tanging tapang din ang ipinamalas ninyo sa harap ng matinding peligro. Nung hinarang naman ang hatid nating supply para sa BRP Sierra Madre, kahit pa mas malalaki, moderno ang mga barko ng katunggali, hindi kayo nagpadaig sa pagpapakitang gilas sa tinaguriang ship handling. Pinapantitero man tayo sa karagatan, nagawa ninyong itong diskartehan sa pagdaan sa mababaw na tubig para maiwasan ang kanilang mga sasakyang pandagat. at maitid sa ating makawal ang kanilang pangangailangan. Nariyan din ang ating mga peacekeepers sa iba't ibang dako ng daigdig. Nangyari nga po ang Arab Spring, dumamay tayong matagal na para sa katahimikan sa Middle East dahil hanggang nating makiambag sa pagtaguyod ng stabilidad. Sa Golan Heights, nagkaroon ng mga di inaasahang elemento na nilagay sa mas mataas na peligro ang ating tropa. Dumulog tayo sa UN. Mahabang usapan, umabot ang tanda ko'y isa't kalahating taon. Pero napakalimitado ng kanilang naging pagsuporta. Dumating sa puntong sumugod ang mga rebelde sa ating pong kampo at pinahiyuhan tayo ng UN. Sumuko na lang tayo at makikipagnegosasyon na lang raw sila. Ang ating makawal, tanga ng tapang at talas ng isip pumalag sa panukala at mula sa kautusan ng ating liderato. Nangyari nga ang tinatawag na Great Escape. Kasama na po sa kasaysayan natin. Sa Liberia naman, nung naging sobrang delikado ang sitwasyon dahil sa Ebola, nakiusap ang pamalang manatili ang ilan sa ating mga pwersa. Gaya naman sa Golan Heights, nakiusap din tayo. Bigyan ninyo kami ng misyong reasonable at tutulong kami. Galangin sana ninyo ang aming peacekeepers. Pero kung may mission impossible ang ipapagawa ninyo, pasensya na. Pero tungkulin kong protektahan ang kawal na Pilipino. Ginagawa po kasi tayong tila tagasalo at sa akin, tagasalo lang po ng problema at sa akin po, hindi pwede yan. Believe talaga ako sa ating makawal. Itong ating narating sa daang matuwid, hindi magiging posible kung wala ang inyong suporta. Maliwanag namang may tungkulin kayo sa lalong pag-aarangkada ng ating lipunan. Ang kaunlaran, hindi mabibigyan daan kung walang stabilidad at kapayapaan. Hanggat nariyan nga ang buong sandatang lakas, matapat na ginagampanan ang inyong mandato, hanggat iisa lang ang panig ninyo at iyon ay sa taong bayan, hanggat di kayo nakikihalo sa politika, maasahan nating magtutuloy-tuloy ang positibong pagbabago. Sa Gabay, Laya, Class of 2016, kayong isa sa pinakamaliit na batch na nagtapos mula noong mga 1960s. Higit sa 20,200 ang nag-apply sa PMA, pero 63 lang ang nasa harap ko ngayon. Para sa akin, dapat ninyo ipagmalaki ang narating ninyo. Sinukat kayo at tinimbang at talaga namang pumasa kayo sa pamantayan. Idiin ko rin, kayo ang ika-6 na batch na nagtapos sa yugtong ito ng ating kasaysayan kung saan namamayani ang mabuting pamamahala, katapatan at integridad sa pamahalaan. Sa paglabas ninyo sa PMA, maraming pagsubok ang makakaharap ninyo. Marami rin maglalapit sa inyo sa tukso. Ang aking nga, ano ba ang batayan kung ano ang dapat gawin? Kung papayagan niyo itong medyo nakakatanda sa inyo magpayo ng kaunti, simple lang po. Tanongin ninyo ang inyong sarili. Ang gagawin ko ba ay makakatulong sa sambayanan? O yung mangyayari rito, ilan lang ang makikinabang at makakapahamak sa mas nakakarami? Sa mga panahong may agam-agam kayo sa inyong gagawin, tanawin ninyo ang ginawa ng mga nakakatanda sa inyo. Mulat kayo sa mga aral at prinsipyong ipinamalas ng maasahang liderato ng AFP at DND. Sa pangunguna nga ng ating huwarang DND Secretary na si Bolts Gasmin. May dahilan na tumanda nga po sila sa serbisyo. Marami silang karanasang may babahagi sa inyo. Ang tanong na lang, di ba kayo makikinig sa kanila? At ulit, pag hindi kayo nakinig, uulitin ba natin ang mga pagkakamali na nakaraan? O makikinig ba kayo sa mga nakakatanda sa inyo, sa kanilang mga payo? At bibigyang halaga ang ipinamana nilang mga prinsipyo at aralin para hindi na maulit ang mga pagkakamali. Kailangan din ninyong isaalang-alang. Oras na dumating kayo sa punto na pakiramdam ninyo, para bang kayo na lang ang tama, kayo na lang ang magaling, muli ninyong suriin ang inyong paninindigan. Makasama ang mga prinsipyong ikinintal sa inyong alaala ang magpapatatag sa inyong loob sa pagtupad ninyo sa mandatong maging mga tagapagtanggol ng inyong kapwa Pilipino. Nasa inyong makamay kung mamamayani ang demokrasya o kung babalik tayo sa madilim na kabanata ng pang-abuso at kawalang hustisya. Kung magiging laganap ang kapayapaan sa mga komunidad na siyang hihimok sa iba na makiisa. O kung babalik tayo sa estado ng pagdududa sa isa't isa. Tiwala naman ako ang mga gintong anak ng bayan, alay ay buhay para sa kalayaan ang magsisilbing panibagong patunay na mag-graduate ng PMA talagang may paninindigan, profesionalismo at kadakilaang tatak ng kawal na Pilipino. Isa pong napakalaking karangalan na maging Commander-in-Chief ng isang sandatahang lakas na kasama ng taong bayan sa daang matuwid. Magandang araw po sa lahat, pagbati sa Gabay Laya Class of 2016. In observance of the time-honored tradition of the Philippine Military Academy and on the occasion of my official visit to the Academy, I, Benigno S. Aquino III, President of the Republic of the Philippines and Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Philippines, hereby pardon all outstanding punishments of the Cadet Corps as recommended by the Superintendent PMA effective today, granted this 13th day of March in the year of our Lord, 2016, Fort del Pilar, Baguio City.
Please be seated. At this juncture, the graduating cadets will form the long gray line. May we request everyone to please stand for the singing of the Philippine Military Academy Alma Mater song. Thank you. Please be seated.
Let us give 3 cheers to those who will be leaving us behind. Hep hep! Hep hep! Hep hep! For those who will be left behind. Hep hep! Hooray! Hep hep! Hooray! Hep hep! Hooray! Mga pinuno, pasulong. Cut! Mga pinuno. To. Mga pinuno. Antabay bunot. Kalis. Baba. Baba. Mga pinuno sa malikod ko. Cut!
The brigade commander orders the corps to pass in review.
Samasid. Pinuno, pasulong. Cut!
Ladies and gentlemen, passing in review before you is the Cadet Corps Armed Forces of the Philippines, led by the Brigade Commander, Cadet First Captain Johnny D. Marhamsar III from Iligan City with his staff, Rolly Oliveras, Kevin Martinez, Juliet Leido, Dave Lozardo, Carlo Canlas, Miko Villanueva, and Cadet Marjum Oria. The Philippine Military Academy Band, under the baton of Master Sergeant Francisco de Sahagun, Philippine Army. First Battalion Commander, Cadet First Class Gerald Brian Potato from Lipa City, Batangas with his staff, Kiefer Guardaya, Nathaniel Pongcardas, Kesha Ginanoy, Kira Rachel Nidoy, and Cadet First Class Colin Lacatango Akad. Alpha Company Commander Cadet John De Vera from Baguio City with his staff, Angel Manglapos, Edimer Montero, Jeril Subol. First Platoon Leader, Glenn Gabertan from Baguio City. Second Platoon Leader, Fatima Balwado from Bukidnon with the company First Sergeant Kirby Buzon. Bravo Company Commander Cadet First Class June Poblete from Baguio City with his staff, Roma Cabuslay, Eda Marapao, George Macalintal. First Platoon Leader, Frederick Macalintar from Bulacan. Second Platoon Leader, Daniel Pascual from Baguio City with the company First Sergeant RG Sahurda. Second Battalion Commander Cadet First Class Dan Alan Pamonag from Taguig City with his staff, Manny Lonzanina, Venice Vigilla, Nicole Banigan, Renz Mendoza, Philip Malogdos. Charlie Company Commander Cadet First Class Luis Solano from Agusan del Sur with his staff, John Barcenas, Sonny Rosita, Franz Bravo. First Platoon Leader Cadet First Class CJ Binang from Quezon City. Second Platoon Leader Cadet First Class Dayanara Awat from Kalinga with the company First Sergeant Zaif Pimpineda. Delta Company Commander Cadet First Class Mark Evan Adan from Batangas with his staff, Pearl Paracari, Delma Borongan, Pilar Fernario. First Platoon Leader Cadet First Class John Silva from Negros Oriental. Second Platoon Leader Cadet First Class Kesley Marigro from Consolacion, Cebu with the company First Sergeant Juganino and Talagando. As the colors pass in front of you, may we request everyone to rise and render the appropriate courtesy. You may sit down after the colors have passed. Ladies and gentlemen, the colors led by its color officer, Cadet First Class Mac Columbus Cataylo from Negros Oriental.
Third Battalion Commander John Wisdom Astur from Sorsogon with his staff, Rolando Mondoy, Abigail Laternas, then Kurt Macapagal, Katrina Javier, Charles Daduya. Echo Company Commander Jerry Caballero from Batangas with his staff, Kay Mina Robles, Katrina May Javier, Virgin Torres. First Platoon Leader Mark Joseph Frante from Tuguegarao. Second Platoon Leader Johnny Rick Brigonia from Batangas with the company First Sergeant Joshua Rosales. Foxtrot Company Commander Floyd Pescado from Maguindanao with his staff, Wendrith Velasco, Alpha Api, Melvin Distrito. First Platoon Leader Gino Gonzaga from Iligan City. Second Platoon Leader Chito Mateo from Pangasinan with the company First Sergeant George Xu. 4th Battalion Commander James Bacolores from Ilocos Sur with his staff Danny Capel, Junray Bordado, Grace Luntayao, Mitch Ivan Apale, Albert Rimpilio. Golf Company Commander Philip Vizcaya from Ligao Albay with his staff Liza Gamad, Julie Bebs Pacumba, Roy Lansenio. First Platoon Leader Romeo Aleman. Second Platoon Leader Ian Artea with the company First Sergeant Justin Dale Patag. Hawk Company Commander Lizar Lee Ruiz from Cavite with his staff Gerald De La Cruz, Johnny Canaboye, Efren Reyes. First Platoon Leader Kenneth Yabo from Bukidnon. Second Platoon Leader Jose Suribas from Cebu with the company First Sergeant Alejandro Baliaga.
Pit pakaliwa. Na! Mahal na Pangulo, tapos na po ang seremonya. Mga pinuno, antabay salong. Kalis! Taas! Saksak! Baba! Pinuno, rap sa kanan, rap! Pasulong! Cut!
That concludes our commencement exercises. On behalf of the Superintendent, Major General Donato B. San Juan II, Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Commandant of Cadets, Brigadier General Rosano D. Briguez, Armed Forces of the Philippines, and the Head of Academics Group, Colonel Joseph V. Villanueva, Corps of Professors, we thank you all for being part of another milestone in the history of the Philippine Military Academy. To our graduates, the members of PMA Gabay Laya Class of 2016, we bid you farewell and God bless. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat at mabuhay ang Republika ng Pilipinas.
Balido, nakita natin yung pass-in review ng underclass ng PMA. Ano po bang ibig sabihin nun? Bakit ginagawa ng underclass yun sa pagtatapos ng graduation ceremony?
Yun yung parang dulo nitong ceremony na kung saan magbibigay pugay sila sa ating panauhing pandangal at kasama na yung ating mga bagong tinyente at ensign na naka-form ng long gray line.
Panauhing pandangal, si Pangulong Aquino, ang Commander-in-Chief ng Armed Forces of the Philippines. At pagkatapos nga nun ay yung mga bagong leader,
bagong mamumuno,
ay kumamay kay Pangulong Aquino, no?
Hanggang ngayon, nandun pa sila.
Nandun pa sila sa loob. At nakatunghayan din natin yung, ano bang tawag doon, yung ibinato nila yung parang sombrero nila. Ang tawag sa sombrero nila, Colonel?
Shaku.
Shaku,
yes,
okay. At binato nga nila, tradisyon na po iyon, no?
Every year na pagkatapos ng graduation, ibinabato nila, namin, yung aming shaku, signifying na graduate na kami.
Colonel, kwento nyo naman po, kasi kanina may nakakwentuhan ako na noon daw, parang pinapaagaw yon na kahit sinong nandito sa Borromeo Field ay pwedeng umagaw at tutubusin daw ng bagong sundalo yung shaku. Tama po ba yon?
Ngayon ko lang din narinig yan, pero ang alam ko, pagka-declare nila na graduates at saka pagtapon nila ng kanilang shaku, yung mga tinatawag naming enlisted man o yung mga non-commissioned officers, sumasaludo sila. Sumasaludo sila sa bagong graduates at yun yung parang prestige sa kanila na unang beses makasaludo sa mga bagong opisyal.
Okay po, ayan po, nakikita po natin, no, nagkakamaya na po yung mga bago nating sundalo, bagong mga tinyente at ensign, no? Ensign kapag ang napiling branch of service
ay Philippine Navy.
Yes. At tinyente naman kapag ano po, Colonel?
Philippine Army at saka Philippine Air Force.
Okay po. Pagkatapos po nitong pagtatapos ito, ng graduation ceremony ng ating mga bagong sundalo, ano pong susunod na kanilang gagawin?
Bago sila mag-report sa kanilang mga branches of service, mabibigyan sila ng bakasyon. Ang pagkakaalam ko niyan is 1 month. Nung kami graduate, binigyan kami ng 1 month na bakasyon. Makasama namin ang aming pamilya bago mag-report sa mga nasa duty.
Opo. Colonel, briefly lang po, no? Sariwain natin yung naramdaman nyo nung kayo ay graduate. Anong year nga po yun?
1999.
1999,
Ayun, in that regard, gusto ko nang kunin itong pagkakataon na ito na batiin ang aking mga kaklase ng members ng Basikay Class of 1999 na magandang tanghali sa inyong lahat.
Opo, happy viewing po sa lahat po ng mga batchmate niya, no?
Nakikita na natin, Ria, yung mga parents, proud parents, pumupunta na sa Borromeo Field para salubungin yung kanilang mga proud at bagong graduate na mga kadete.
Oo, matapos ang 4 na taon, no, na pagsusumikap dito sa loob ng akademya, ay finally ay graduate na itong 63 strong cadets natin. At Colonel, mapalad po tayo na nahila ng ating kasamang si Sweden Velado, ang ating class valedictorian, na ngayon ay tatawagin ng si Ensign Christian Dave Abike. Christian, kasama siya ngayon ni Sweden Velado. Sweden, bigyan mo kami ng update, kasama si Christian.
Yes, Ria, maraming salamat sa iyo. Alam mo, napakataas ng emosyon ng kagalakan dito sa may Borromeo Field dahil siguro yung mga viewer natin no, na magulang din, nararamdaman nila yung emotion, yung galak na nararamdaman din sa ngayon ng mga magulang na nandito sa Philippine Military Academy na nakapagpatapos ng kanyang anak. At gaya nga ng nabanggit mo, Ria, mapalad tayo ngayon na makapanayam si Ensign Christian Dave Abiki, ang valedictorian ng Gabay Laya Class of 2016. Okay, Ensign Abiki, congratulations!
Thank you po, maraming salamat.
Okay, Ensign Abiki, alam mo, ano ba yung iyong nararamdaman ngayon na finally, sabi mo nga after 5 years, ikaw ay nakapagtapos na ngayon. At hindi lang basta nakapagtapos you are the class valedictorian.
Masaya and of course excited and of course a challenge. Kasi as we step out of this fortress, as we leave this academy, there's a greater challenge out there for the country.
Ano naman ang iyong naging inspirasyon o sino ang iyong naging inspirasyon para makamit ang iyong tagumpay ngayong araw na ito?
Of course, number one is God and my family, my relatives, and yung mga classmates ko dito sa PMA and my upper class and underclassmen. Lahat sila tumulong sa akin para magampanan at makamit kung nasaan man ako ngayon.
Ensign Abiki, sa loob ng 5 taon, of course, you have experienced a lot of obstacles no, dito sa loob ng PMA. Pero syempre, pagdating mo sa labas, ibang hamon at pagsubok naman ang iyong kakaharapin. Handa ka na bang gawin ang iyong tungkulin?
Of course, I believe. We're trained here for the basics. So I hope we can apply these basics for the more complicated challenges outside.
Ano naman ang iyong daily mantra o yung iyong naging motto to live by na maiiwan mo sa mga kadeteng nandito pa at sa mga nais din pumasok sa Philippine Military Academy na pwede nilang i-adopt para magstay sila dito sa PMA?
Life is hard and just live one day at a time and do the right thing. That's it.
Alright, congratulations! Ensign Abiki. Sa punto pong ito, Ria, makakapanayam naman natin ang magulang ni Ensign Abiki, si Mr. and Mrs. Abiki. Sir and ma'am, congratulations po sa inyong dalawa. Kayo naman po ang inyong nararamdaman na nakapagpatapos kayo ng PMA Ensign.
Ma'am, sobrang tuwa po kasi nagtapos na rin ang aking anak ng PMA kasi yan talaga ang ambisyon niya mula bata.
Kayo naman, sir, ano po ang inyong nararamdaman ngayon?
I'm very happy and proud to be a father of this valedictorian.
Mensahe niyo po sa mga magulang din no, na may mga anak din na nagbabalak pumasok sa PMA. Advice niyo po to them.
Advice ko sa mga magulang na gustong naman pumasok yung anak nila sa academy, kung ano yung gusto ng anak nila, kailangan suportahan. Moral support ang kailangan po.
Alright. Ma'am, saan po ang handaan after nitong graduation ceremony?
Ay na lang po sa Isabela.
Alright. Maraming salamat po, ma'am, and Mr. and Mrs. Abiki, and of course, Ensign Christian Dave Abiki. At yan po, nakapanayam po natin ang class valedictorian ng Gabay Laya Class of 2016 mula sa pagiging first class cadet siya na ngayon si Ensign Christian Dave Abiki. At muli niyo rin pong natunghayan ang 111th Commencement Exercises ng Philippine Military Academy. Ako po ang inyong lingkod, Sweden Velado. Back to you, Ria.
Maraming salamat, Sweden Velado, at congratulations kay Ensign Abiki. Kanina nga ay kasama niya ang kanyang mga magulang, proud parents doon sa exclusive interview ni Sweden. At sa puntong ito, mag-recap muna tayo sa naging laman ng talumpati ni Pangulong Aquino. Pero bago yan ay napakinggan natin, narinig natin yung kanyon, no?
Bilang hudyat na lumabas ng ating presidente sa gate ng Fort del Pilar.
So at this point ay nasa labas na po ng Fort del Pilar sa Baguio City si Pangulong Aquino. At kanina nga dito sa graduation ceremony ng Gabay Laya Class of 2016 ay si Pangulong Aquino na siya ring Commander-in-Chief ng Armed Forces of the Philippines ang naging panauhing pandangal. Ito po ay makasaysayan dahil ito na po ang kanyang huling pagkakataon na makadadalo sa PMA graduation. At laman ng kanyang talumpati ay naikwento ni Pangulong Aquino yung panlalaki ng kanyang mata nang malaman niya na Gabay Laya yung pangalan na napili ng batch 2016. Pero nung nalaman niya na ang ibig sabihin pala nito ay gintong anak ng bayan, alay ay buhay para sa bayan, ay nakampante na si Pangulong Aquino. Binigyang diin ng Pangulo ang papel ng sandataang lakas sa demokrasya, lalo na't ngayong taon nga po ay ipinagdiriwang natin ng ginugunita natin ng ika-30 anibersaryo ng EDSA People Power Revolution. At minsan nga raw po ay kasi itong sandatang lakas ay naging instrumento para supilin ang ating kalayaan dahil sa kapritsuhan ng iisang pamilya. Pero dahil daw po sa kanyang ina na si dating Pangulong Corazon Aquino ay naibalik ang demokrasya sa bansa na kanya namang mas pinangalagaan nang siya ay manungkulan simula taong 2010 sa ilalim nga ng daang matuwid na prinsipyo. Mapalad nga raw ang Gabay Laya na maabutan ng Administrasyong Aquino dahil ayon sa Pangulo maraming pagbabago ang isinagawa kasama na ang upgrade sa mga pasilidad sa PMA, gayon din po sa AFP para mabigyan ng karapat-dapat na suporta ang ating mga kadete at sundalo. Maliban po sa PMA at AFP modernization, ibinida rin ng Pangulo sa kanyang talumpati ang mga nagawa sa iba't ibang bahagi ng bansa at ang mga matatagumpay na programa gaya ng 4Ps o yung Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program na inaasahang mag-aangat sa may 8 milyong Pilipinong mahihirap at higit pa kung tuloy-tuloy daw po ang implementasyon nito. Nabanggit din po ng Pangulo sa kanyang talumpati ang naipit na panukalang Bangsamoro Basic Law o BBL na sana'y maghahatid ng katarungan, kapayapaan at kaunlaran sa rehiyong Mindanao. Sinabi rin po ng Pangulo na napakaswerte daw po talaga ng batch ng Gabay Laya dahil naranasan nila ang serbisyo mula sa gobyernong mabuti ang pamamahala, may katapatan at integridad. Kaya naman po ang hamon ng Pangulo sa ating mga bagong sundalo ay gawin ang tama, nararapat at ang ikabubuti ng buong sambayanang Pilipino. At Colonel, matapos ko nga mailahad ang detalye ng talumpati ni Pangulong Aquino, pag-usapan naman po natin yung PMA Roadmap 2028. Ano po bang gist nito?
Yung PMA Roadmap 2028 ay ito po yung aming guide towards transformation. If you would notice, bakit 2028? Dahil naka-align tayo dun sa roadmap din ng AFP.
Opo.
And ang vision, yung ating inaasam is that ang PMA ay marating ang pandaigdigang pamantayan sa, in terms of training and producing competent and principled military officers.
So nandun tayo sa goal na to be at par with the best military schools or academies
in the world.
In the world.
Yes,
Maging world class ang ating PMA. So nabanggit nga po natin na ito na yung huling kumbaga graduation ceremony na dadaluhan ni Pangulong Aquino dahil by June 30 ay bababa na po siya sa pwesto at magpapalit na ng administrasyon. Papaano po natin masisiguro yung pondo nitong PMA Roadmap
yes.
2020?
Ang wala naman specific na or naka-allocate na pondo para sa roadmap dahil ang pondo nito, Ria, is nakapaloob na rin sa allocations, sa appropriations ng PMA. Kailangan lamang na yung aming mga projects, activities ay naka-align doon sa requirements ng roadmap.
Okay po, kanina po ay nakapanayam din po natin si PMA Superintendent Major General Donato San Juan. Panoorin po natin ang ating panayam kay Major General San Juan.
We have not changed the requirements for acceptance in the Philippine Military Academy. So one is the physical fitness, which you undergo the medical examination in Viluna. Of course, the requirement for the entrance exam, especially for all high school graduates, that is the minimum requirement. However, we also have an exception for the entrance exam. If you are a dependent or the direct dependent of a Medal for Valor awardee. The height requirement, it used to be 5'4", now it's 5 feet, so we have reduced it. This is the same standard as the armed forces is now requiring for new soldiers. Then I've already mentioned the medical, so I think that those are the minimum requirements. On the physical, if I may add, we have changes also, requirements for the female. As far as the physical requirements, we have lesser number of push-ups required for female applicants. Then the other side of the equation, we will also strengthen or look into a more focused recruitment of applicants, such that because the curriculum of PMA is heavy on math, so we might be focusing on graduates who are inclined or have a higher aptitude in math, so that the success rate would be higher. Also, to add to this program, we are also looking into enticing the valedictorians and salutatorians of graduates from different schools by giving them an exemption in the written exam, but they will still undergo the medical and physical examination. Well, basically, the class will be graduating with only 63, and they started with 125. But given the success rate, I think one of the very clear distinction from others, they have a higher success rate. Probably this is because of the rigid selection they've gone through, which resulted to a lower turnout of applicants. So, and the advantage of having a smaller class, one is obviously you know each other better, and most likely you have better bonding among yourselves. Well, I know that we are now being remembered as the smallest class with only 63, but I'm sure given the time they will be recognized, probably the best class who have made a difference for the armed forces and for the Filipino as a whole.
Atin pong natunghayan ang eksklusibong panayam sa PMA Superintendent na si Major General Donato San Juan at kanyang inilahad ang mga kwalifikasyon para po doon sa mga nagnanais na makapasok dito sa Philippine Military Academy. At dito na nga po nagtatapos ang kabuuan ng ating special coverage ng 111th Commencement Exercises ng Philippine Military Academy. Maraming salamat po, Lieutenant Colonel Reynaldo Balido. May mga nais po ba kayong pasalamatan?
Opo, pero bago yan, gusto ko lang sanang banggitin na kung doon sa mga nabanggit mo yung mga gustong mag-apply, para sa karagdagang impormasyon at mas kumpletong detalye, mag-login lamang po tayo sa ating website www.pma.ph.
PMA.gov.ph?
No, www.pma.ph.
Opo.
And yun nga, binabati natin itong mga bagong tinyente at NC natin, pati na ang kanilang mga proud parents at maraming salamat din sa pagkakataong makatrabaho ka, Ria.
Opo, maraming salamat po, Colonel Balido. At syempre, maraming salamat po, PMA, dito sa oportunidad na ito. At ito pong special coverage ng 111th Commencement Exercises ng Gabay Laya Class of 2016 ay hatid sa inyo ng RTVM, PTV4, IBC 13, Radyo ng Bayan at buong puwersa ng media ng bayan. Ako po si Ria Fernandez, kasama ko nga po si Sweden Velado at Lieutenant Colonel Reynaldo Balido Jr., ang hepe po ng Public Affairs Office ng PMA. Congratulations, Gabay Laya Class of 2016. Magandang araw sa ating lahat, Pilipinas. Sir, thank you. Thank you so much.